Right now at 6, state regulators grill Waymo about the system-wide meltdown during last month's San Francisco power outage. The frustration over the lack of answers.
Guinea pigs, and they don't care. They don't care.
Plus,
I was dumbfounded.
We'll take you inside the rush to repair the Lick Observatory after a Christmas storm ripped off part of its dome. And a hero send-off for the red and gold. We'll check in with the faithful as the 49ers fly to Philly for a wild card showdown against the defending Super Bowl champs. And later,
I used to run this path, run across the bridge, go over to Marin.
I catch up with Tony Dokoupil as he gets ready to anchor the revamped CBS Evening News live from San Francisco.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us at 6. A potential hitch in the robo-taxi revolution. Today, Waymo went before state regulators to answer questions about why its cars stopped working during that massive power outage in San Francisco. So you might remember, the outage seemed to almost crash Waymo's network, leaving confused cars just stalled out across the city. Traffic was backed up for hours on a number of streets. Brad Hamilton has more on the push for answers that left some pretty frustrated.
It was another layer of chaos to a citywide meltdown. Several driverless Waymos stalled at intersections during the mass power outage last month. Today, a first chance for state regulators to ask Waymo officials why their vehicles couldn't handle a large-scale infrastructure failure. Brenda DeBoe showed up at today's pre-hearing at the Public Utility Commission's headquarters, hoping to learn something, but she left more confused.
Guinea pigs, and they don't care. They don't care.
Brenda was a longtime rideshare driver in San Francisco. She attended along with other rideshare drivers who rallied outside. While they certainly have a personal stake in how the autonomous vehicles could change their industry, they say they have growing concerns about the technology's safety.
They're not taking it seriously. I mean, they had questions that were sent to them, and they had plenty of time to prepare them.
Waymo, Tesla, Google, Uber, and Lyft were all on hand to discuss a number of topics regarding autonomous vehicles. Regulators asked Waymo officials to explain why their vehicles shut down during the outage and how they plan to fix it. They declined comment, citing the fact that this was a pre-hearing. But San Jose State professor Ahmed Benafa, an expert in this field, says he knows exactly what happened.
What they have done is they stopped and they started communicating back with the center. And now because there are many of them communicating, trying to get some clarification about the situation, there is a backlog.
Benafa says the fix is a simple adjustment within the software, but he also feels the company will have to start working with the city so their emergency crews can move Waymos in a crisis.
Or give them some kind of a hotline so they can act right away. Okay, here's the passcode, go and move the car.
As for Brenda, today didn't do much to change her mind.
After some of the reports and things that I've read, and after this meeting, I don't think I'd take a Waymo.
The proof was in the car service she called as our conversation ended. A person behind the wheel is the way she'll travel for now.
Meantime, today, small businesses in San Francisco's Sunset District got a chance to talk to PG&E face-to-face about the financial impact of the recent blackouts. Bilingual representatives with PG&E toured the district with Supervisor Alan Wong. They met with merchants to help them start their claims process. More than 130,000 customers lost power during the December 20th citywide outage. It was caused by a failure of a circuit breaker and fire at a substation in the city's Mission District. And it was just one of several outages merchants in the Sunset have had to deal with. They say the outages have cost them thousands, and the $2,500 credit PG&E is offering is just not enough.
No, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's too little.
There have been 6 outages in the Sunset District in December, and I have been very frustrated with the process. For PG&E to be able to come out here, it's the least that they can do, and I'll be pushing for more accountability and demanding more.
Supervisor Wong is demanding increased compensation and clear communication for customers who do not speak English. Tonight, more protests and vigils around the Bay Area after an ICE agent shot and killed a woman in Minneapolis earlier this week. Just a couple of hours ago, demonstrators gathered outside a federal immigration building in downtown San Francisco.
Justice for all stolen lives!
Now, this is on Washington Street near Sansom. For a time, they were banging on the doors and blocking the street outside the building. They've since cleared the area. And this is a live look at Mexican Heritage Plaza in San Jose. And this is where a vigil is just getting underway to honor Renee Good, the woman shot by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. We'll certainly be keeping an eye on this one as well. Protests continued in Minneapolis. Somali neighborhoods gathered to remember Good as well as condemn ICE operations in their own state. Somalian immigrants have been the target of recent ICE raids in Minnesota as the Trump administration has repeatedly accused them of committing welfare fraud. The administration recently deployed 2,000 federal agents to the area. Today, Good's wife gave a statement to Minnesota Public Radio saying in part, quote, "We stopped to support our neighbors. We had whistles. They had guns." CBS News has confirmed the agent who shot Good is Jonathan Ross. He has worked with ICE in Minnesota for nearly a decade and was involved in another vehicle-related incident last June. Court documents show he was dragged approximately 100 yards with his arm inside a car while trying to execute an immigration warrant. Of course, we will have continuing coverage of this investigation into the deadly ICE shooting and the impacts here at home. Stay with us on the air and streaming on the free CBS News app. On to Oakland, where police now are investigating a deadly shooting near the Coliseum flea market. So officers say it happened just before noon today on Coliseum Way. Our chopper was overhead as officers placed evidence markers around a white car. When police arrived, they found a person with a gunshot wound. The victim was taken to the hospital where they died. There's no word on what led up to the shooting. We are less than a month away from Super Bowl 60 right here in Levi Stadium. And while the big game is expected to bring in thousands of fans from across the country, city leaders are warning people that the crowds could also raise the danger of trafficking. San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie says law enforcement, social services, and community partners will coordinate in real time to prevent trafficking incidents from happening before they start. City leaders also calling on members of the public to keep an eye out for any suspicious activity during Super Bowl week. They say they plan on launching an awareness campaign with a simple message. If you see something, say something.
We want residents, visitors, hotel staff, transportation workers, and frontline employees to know the signs of human trafficking and to know exactly how to report concerns safely and appropriately.
Now, this comes as organizations kick off Anti-Human Trafficking Month this January. All right, turning to a major traffic disruption on one of the busiest commuter roads in Contra Costa County. A broken water main has shut down the middle lanes on Ignacio Valley Road in Walnut Creek. So this is near Homestead Avenue, down the hill from John Muir Hospital. It broke yesterday afternoon. East Bay Mud says the line was 70 years old. The intersection is expected to reopen by 11 p.m. tonight. But until then, police are asking people to avoid that area. The CBS Evening News with Tony Dokoupil is live tonight, right here from San Francisco. Tony and I met at Fort Point with the gorgeous Golden Gate Bridge as our backdrop, as you can see. He has been boots on the ground, traveling from state to state with the Evening News. He says he loves his new assignment, and his family loves his new hours.
I get to take the kids to school now, which I hadn't been able to do before. And for another thing, my wife loves me more because now it's not solo mornings every single morning for her.
Nice job.
And 10 p.m. comes around and you don't have to have a panic about getting to sleep. You can just be a normal person.
Yes.
So you can read.
All right. Tony told me he used to live in San Francisco at one point before his broadcasting career. He even surfed for a bit. He also said one of his favorite parts of traveling the country this week is asking people big picture questions that give you a peek at their mindsets.
I've been asking people all over the country, would they rather live, if they had to choose, in the past, in the present, or in the future? And it tells you a lot about their state of optimism. Where do you think people say they'd like to live mostly?
Oh, my goodness. Past?
Overwhelmingly.
Really?
Yeah, overwhelmingly. About 80% of the people, and there have been national
like the
polls
good
on
old
this,
days.
Everybody wants to live somewhere besides the future,
Okay.
which tells you the level of anxiety that we have right now about the future, politically, technologically.
The simple good old days, right? So again, the evening news broadcast from San Francisco, it starts at 6:30 right after this newscast. All right, still ahead here at 6, major repairs at Lick Observatory. We're going to take you inside the rebuilding efforts after a storm ripped off part of its dome.
We don't actually know how long it's going to take to fix.
And we're going to meet some 49er diehards. There they are. They gathered to give the red and gold a proper send-off to their playoff showdown in Philadelphia.
Temperatures in Philadelphia will not be as amenable as what we had across the Bay Area today. After a chilly start, we got up to almost exactly average high temperatures this afternoon. More of that tomorrow, but then a warming trend for most of the Bay Area as we headed in next week. We'll talk about what we mean by most coming up in the First Alert forecast.
You'll likely be able to buy fresh local crab this weekend. This morning, crab fishermen placed their traps in the water for the first harvest of the season. But we still don't know what price fishermen set with buyers. So we caught up with some of them in San Francisco who woke up bright and early this morning to get a head start.
We're hoping for a great year. The sports season was a great season, lots of big crab, and in good numbers.
Everybody's excited. We've watching the captains talk and debate, negotiate, trying to get the prices going. The weight's been killing us, but everybody's fired up, ready to go.
Yes, crab season was delayed again this year because of concerns about humpback whales in the area. Major repairs underway at one of the Bay Area's coolest scientific hubs. You may remember the stormy Christmas weather ripped a piece off the dome at the Lick Observatory. Well, Brian Hackney got an inside look at the repairs and how the observatory team was able to protect the rest of the dome from the ensuing downpours.
When the Bay Area woke up on a stormy Christmas morning, astronomers woke up to this. 116-mile-an-hour wind gust at Lick Observatory ripped off a 5-ton chunk of the dome.
And I was just, I was dumbfounded.
Engineers were left scrambling to pick up the 10,000-pound pieces outside, and inside, scrambled to protect one of the Bay Area's scientific jewels from the unrelenting rain.
I am Eleanor Gates, and I am one of the resident astronomers here at Lick Observatory, and we are going up to take a look at the damage and the repair work.
The domes atop the observatory are supposed to look like this. The shutter doors protecting the priceless telescopes inside. But one door is now lying in the parking lot.
So this is the dome for the 36-inch refractor, and this here is the dome shutter door that was blown off the dome during the storm on Christmas morning. It really took quite a bit of damage.
So did the roof when 10,000 pounds of shutter landed on it, snapping the ceiling joists inside.
The telescope, thank goodness, did not suffer any damage. This is another place.
So it's obviously a big, unusual, and expensive repair job. As for how long it's going to take, well,
we don't actually know how long it's going to take to fix. A hard hat for you.
So how are they going to protect that telescope?
So the actual damage is at the south end of the building where the 36-inch telescope dome is.
Do you remember the first time you showed me this telescope?
Oh gosh, that was so long ago.
2007, actually, when Eleanor first showed us this historic scope. How much does this weigh?
On the order of 14 tons.
But it is so delicately balanced.
It is delicately balanced, and so you just move it.
But it works.
It definitely works. The pinnacle of technology for the 1880s.
It's a precious piece of historic equipment.
So we're headed up to the mezzanine level so that you get a really good look at the telescope and what we've done to protect the telescope from the weather.
You put a huge tarp on it.
An enormous tarp. Unfortunately, the dome is still open to the elements. We had contractors come in that specialize in mitigating water damage, and they built this enormous tent to catch the water coming through the slit. So if it started to rain right now, we would have to rely on this tarp.
So far, it's done the job in the pouring rain.
So this is the biggest telescope on Mount Hamilton.
And the rest of the observatory complex is at least unscathed.
It could have been a whole lot worse. We have been continuing our research as normal. So that at least is the good news of this whole situation. We're hoping that within the next 4 to 6 days that we can get this closed up and protected so that we can now focus on the longer term plan of the actual repair.
The Lick Observatory is asking for help funding these repairs. You can donate on the Lick Observatory website. We'll be right back, but first, here's tonight's Tahoe report with you-know-who.
Hey, it's Johnny Mosley. Before you pack up your boards and load up your Toyota, let's have a glance at the conditions in the Sierra. The Toyota Tahoe report is dialed in, so let's head over to the map.
We are set in the Sierra this weekend. Might not have any new snow, but in this case, you really don't need it because the base is spectacular. All of the resorts are set now, probably for the next several weeks, with several feet of snow for the base. And you can drive to all of them without any challenges on the roads. That makes this one of the better weekends of the entire ski season so far because you've got the combination of widespread snow on the runs and no snow on the roads. So, boy, you couldn't have asked for a better weekend if you were thinking you finally wanted to get up to the Sierra and check out the conditions. And that is tonight's Toyota Tahoe report.
All right, well, if you're a duck, the weather in Oregon is a little bit gloomy right now, so we're not going to talk about Oregon weather right now, but there's always the comeback. Anyway, how's our weekend weather looking?
At least their weather is going to be warming up a little bit when they fly back from Atlanta.
My son said there's a lot of sun there right now.
Yeah, let's take a look at what's happening weather-wise a little closer to the Bay Area. We'll let Juliet return to her doom scrolling of the college football semifinal. Dry weather is going to prevail for a while. Now, chilly temperatures this morning are going to repeat themselves again tomorrow morning. I don't think we're going to set any records, but a few of the coldest spots are going to flirt with freezing by early tomorrow morning. But then we warm up to mild temperatures in the afternoon this weekend with warmer weather in store for most of the Bay Area next week. The one fly in that ointment is the potential of the Tule fog in the Central Valley to have more to impact on temperatures in the interior valleys of the East Bay and the North Bay as we head into next week. More on that in a second as well. But let's talk about what a while means in terms of dry weather. There's no rain in the 7-day forecast, and the 6 to 10-day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, all of this brown, means essentially zero rainfall in that time frame, which takes us past the midpoint of January, and the 8 to 14-day outlook, which takes us all the way to January 23rd. It's not as strong a signal towards necessarily zero rain, but it's a pretty strong sign that we are not going to be seeing much headed our way over the course of the next couple of weeks, and some of the really long-range data doesn't bring any rain towards us until January 30th or so. That is, again, really far down the line. We'll keep an eye on in case things do change a little bit. Let's talk about how that's going to impact our air quality. It's one of the things we have to monitor whenever we get one of these stagnant air masses kind of parked overhead. We had this in December, and the haze is gradually going to return to the horizon. We had good air quality across the entire Bay Area again today, so I don't think the air quality is going to deteriorate quite as fast as what the Air District is thinking. They say moderate air quality everywhere already over the weekend. I think we're going to see a mix of green and yellow dots Saturday and Sunday, and then back to that moderate category Monday and Tuesday. We'll hope to stay out of the unhealthy for sensitive groups range, but that remains a possibility for as long as this dry pattern persists. Temperatures are starting to drop off a little bit. You're down to 48 degrees right now in Livermore, 50 on the nose in Santa Rosa and in Concord. We're going to continue to cool off as we head through the rest of tonight, and by early tomorrow morning, we're going to have quite a few 30s on the map. The fog is not going to be too widespread, but you see it starting to get its act together on the other side of the Diablo Range. The Central Valley is going to have some of that Tule fog already by tomorrow morning. It's not going to sneak in through the Delta to any great extent just yet, but temperatures are going to try to warm up from another chilly start. Temperatures climbing up from the 30s across most of the Bay Area, 38 degrees tomorrow morning in San Jose. And again, some of the coldest spots are going to get dipped down to around freezing. We are going to see temperatures climbing to a greater extent by tomorrow afternoon, back up to near or maybe even a couple degrees above average for Saturday afternoon's highs. So a mix of a lot of 50s, and some of the warmest spots are going to manage to get up to around 60 degrees, upper 50s in San Jose, closer to 60 for Los Gatos and Morgan Hill, near 60 degrees along the coast as well. For the North Bay, I'm talking about temperatures mostly reaching up into the upper 50s by tomorrow afternoon. And the North Bay is also where we find our adoptable dog of the day. This is Riley. When shepherds, I'm not sure if it's a shepherd or Malinois, but when they look happy, they look really happy. Adoptable link will be up on social media right after this. Weathercast temperatures tomorrow, ideal for wearing out your furry friends. Not too warm for them and not too chilly for us. All in all, working out pretty well. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast in inland. That's where we're tracking the return of the fog. Again, some of it trying to sneak in this weekend, more likely to be a factor as we head through most of next week. And that's going to limit how much temperatures warm up. Say in mid-50s for highs for those interior valleys of the East Bay and the North Bay at this point. If the fog is really persistent, we might not even hit 50. If it's less persistent and gives way to more sunshine, well, then temperatures should be similar to what we see around the Bay, which is going to be into the lower half of the 60s and just 1 or 2 degrees warmer than this along the coast as we head through next week. So a nice little warming trend for areas close to the water.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Do I thank you? I don't know if it's you directly, but.
You didn't hear a word I said. You were looking at the ducks.
No, I did. I
Okay.
heard that. I heard it. Okay.
Okay.
What'd you say?
Mhm.
All right. When we come
Were you?
back, we're going to hear from the faithful who lined the streets outside Levi Stadium to send off the 49ers on their playoff trip to Philly. Plus, here's another look at what's ahead on the CBS E.
I'm Steve Hartman in northern Indiana, where there have now been multiple sightings of a truck that got totaled long ago, yet inexplicably still moves. We'll hunt down the zombie truck.
Wait, is this it?
This is it. When we go on the road to South Bend, Indiana, coming up on the CBS Evening News.
All eyes on the Niners as they head to Philadelphia this weekend. The players boarded the team plane in San Jose just hours ago to take on the defending Super Bowl champs and keep their season alive. So the team received a big hero send-off as their bus passed by a sea of red and gold. Fans lined the sidewalk, as you can see, with their team all there to wish them good luck. As you can see, the enthusiasm is strong. We heard from a couple of fans who actually have stuck with the team throughout this roller coaster of a season, still full of belief, of course.
It's going to be a tough one, but we can definitely pull it out. Yeah, I think with all the injuries, it's definitely going to be tough, but I believe.
My grandparents and I, we drove all the way up here from Salinas. Traffic wasn't bad. Well, traffic was a little slow, but it's hard to move here and there. And now I can't wait to see my boys.
That's right. Right now, FanDuel lists the 49ers as 5.5-point underdogs heading into Sunday's matchup. All right, the CBS Evening News with Tony Dokoupil is next on KPIX, broadcast right here in San Francisco. Local news on our streaming service. We'll see you at 7 o'clock with more local news as well. See you then. Here's Tony.